and they're settling them with debt that's not valuable. There's no value in that home. I can't tell you how many corporate conversations and just water cooler type conversations at different workplaces I've had where people are like, man, they left me the house or left my uncle the house. I want them to do this and I want them to do that. But the problem is the uncle, he's the only person that got capital. But everybody wants some. And so a lot of these financial decisions, we talked about, Hey, shout out to Zora again. She said, depending on what age you buy this house, you may be passing that mortgage debt on to a family member. Yeah, that's facts. Because a lot of people, what they don't like to understand is somebody's got to foot the bill typically for that debt. And what people typically do is they, like a lot of the elderly, one thing they'll do is they'll think that they're doing their kids a favor by saying, I'm going to write the home off to my kids. But a lot of times they're saddling them with debt. And they're settling them with debt that's not valuable. There's no value in that home. I can't tell you how many corporate conversations and just water cooler type conversations at different workplaces I've had where people are like, man, they left me the house or left my uncle the house. I want them to do this and I want them to do that. But the problem is the uncle, he's the only person that got capital. But everybody wants some. And so a lot of these financial decisions, we talked about as far as finances and relationships go. But when it comes down to finances and families, a lot of things get really messy. And so we got to be very intentional about that. For me, some of the biggest cons that we have are the biggest con that I see is the 40-year mortgage is not a qualified loan. And only 2% of the population actually got 40-year mortgages in 2022. And so that was very alarming because it's okay, if this is not a normal thing, how are people getting fleeced? And so the qualified loan, when it comes down to the qualified loan, these loans are qualified by the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And so what they do is they protect individuals and try to educate people and protect them from scammers and fraud. And so your protections may be limited because the fact that a 40-year loan is not a qualified loan, right? Since it's not qualified, you may not be able to get the backing that you need in case you get fleeced. You may be stuck this long because this is 40 years we're talking about. And we'll get to the numbers on the next bullet. This is 40 years you're talking about. This is 40 years of a payment you may never be able to shake. A lot of people don't live to see 40, but that a lot of people don't understand that a lot of your debt lives on if you don't have the ability to pay. And we already talked about this, like last year, I think we were talking about life insurance and things like that. A lot of people don't have life insurance. So there ain't no money coming out. When a lot of our communities are notorious for having bake sales to bury somebody and having a fish fry to bury somebody. So we got to think about, okay, what demographic is getting these 40-year loans? Why are they getting the 40-year loans? And what else goes into the bigger picture of taking on that 40-year loan? It was just one of those things where it stuck out to me. I'm like, man, this thing ain't even protected. Like, people gonna go out here, because you know how they tell them. They be like, yeah, go get the LLC. Then you get the LLC, then you go flip that, you gonna do this. And they're like, yeah, bro, go get that house. But we're gonna get into the numbers, because if we look at the 15, the 30, and the 40, it's a whole different ball game.